morning, everybody. Welcome back to City Sowers. Today we're going to kind of walk around the property that we have here. I'm going to show everybody kind of what's going on, updates, just kind of give a feel to all of our new subscribers just what it is that we do here and how we do it. Now, we have been home from our road trip for a couple of days now, but the accumulated exhaustion of such a big road trip, traveling with kids, all the things, it just kind of hit us once we got home. So we've kind of just spent a couple of days recuperating. But David has to go back to work today. Now, he gets to work from home one last time today, but then starting tomorrow he's going like physically back to the office since he's been home since COVID. So it's bittersweet. Like, it's a relief that things are getting back to normal, but he's also really kind of liked working from home. The goat that I'm milking right now is Betsy, and you know, this is not her prettiest end, but she's doing alright. Her production isn't fantastic, but she only had a singleton this year, so I'm not really expecting much out of her. And her first year was weird because she ended up eating a poisonous plant and nearly dying, and her production went down because of that. And she had 3 babies on her last year. So I still don't really have a super accurate gauge on what her production is really like. So hopefully next year she'll have at least 2 babies and have a higher demand on her, because I know when she was nursing 3 babies, when I first started milking her, she was doing amazing. She was producing a lot of milk, but then she got really sick and her production just plummeted and never really recovered. And then this year she had 1, which granted he was a big one, but he was only 1 baby demanding on her, so she didn't have to produce nearly as much. But she's in great shape. Here, now that I'm done milking her, I can kind of show you her pretty side. So this is Miss Betsy. Full name is Betsy Ross, so she gets an American flag collar. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Mama. And she is my camera hog that wants to nibble on everything. She wants to be in your business. She's a very affectionate goat, but she shows her affection by nibbling. Now, after milking, she's going to get 2 cookies. Now, most days there'll be 2 animal cookies. These are just organic animal cracker cookies from just Costco. And the other one here is an herbal dewormer cookie that she gets actually once a week. There you go. So she gets the dewormer, and then she runs to the gate. Come on. And we swap goats. Oh, now this is Jane. Her full name is Jane Eyre, and apparently this is Jane Eyre's Derriere. Jane currently has 3 babies on her that are 4.5 weeks old, thereabouts, almost 5 weeks. And so she is heavily producing right now. And this is her 3rd year, so she's really gotten into the swing of it now. Alright, scoot your butt. There you go. Our goats are Nigerian dwarf goats, which is a miniature dairy breed of goat, for anybody who doesn't know. So, because basically most people, miniature goats that they're familiar with would be a pygmy goat, which is not a dairy animal. And the origin of a pygmy goat is actually that they were originally brought to the US to be food for zoo animals. So they are actually bred more for meat production, though they have really just taken off in the pet department in the US. having these goats, I have totally fallen in love with the breed. They can be trouble. I mean, we have had Betsy has bloated twice since we got her because she's crazy smart, and she has broken into getting into the chicken feed a couple of times. That was before we had gotten all of our systems really down. So I mean, they can be mischievous, but they have wonderful personalities, and we're not like huge milk drinkers. I mean, we use it, but I don't need gallons and gallons of milk. So having just the 2 small goats has actually given us plenty of milk. If we were to move to a larger property, I'm not sure that I would move away from Nigerians, mostly because my husband works full-time outside of the home. If I had larger goats, it would be a lot harder for me to handle them, to treat them, to do whatever. Because, I mean, once you have them trained, it's not so much work. But if you have medical issues, excuse you. But the Nigerians remain small enough that I can handle them without help. I mean, it can occasionally get chaotic and you just need extra bodies just to block something, but I can generally handle them on my own. They are small enough that even I can pick them up. So when we take our goats to be bred, I can load them into the car by myself to take them to the buck. And I really like that I am able to handle them myself if my husband is not available to help. So for that reason alone, I think that I would probably stick with the smaller goats. And we like the milk. So Nigerian dwarf milk is extremely high in butterfat, which is why it has a sweeter flavor compared to some other goat milks I've read. They actually have more butterfat than a Jersey cow does in their milk. So it does make some amazing cheese and yogurt, and it's really good. Now, what I'm doing with Jane is I am massaging her udder because she actually has had this lactation. Her udder got really firm. It's not infected, it's not hot, it's not painful. It just got really firm and fleshy. Now, I'm not sure how much of that may just be because she's 4 years old now, or she did put on a little extra weight while she was pregnant, but we did that on purpose because she does something called going very dairy when she's in production, and she puts so much of her own physical resources into producing milk that her first lactation, she lost a lot of weight. She got really skinny, and it was really hard to put weight back on her while she was in lactation. So we went ahead and we beefed her up a little bit. I mean, I didn't want to make her obese, but we got her a little heftier during her pregnancy to help cushion that weight loss when she started producing. And she still tends to look like a train wreck while she's feeding babies. She, like I said, she puts a lot of her resources into milk production, so she's lost a lot of her hair right now. She's got bald patches. But she's totally fine. Like, she'll recover and the hair will grow back long before she's even rebred. So, and part of that is just it's very similar to humans when they have a baby. If anybody is familiar with losing a lot of hair right after having a baby, goats can do the same thing. So Miss Jane loses a lot of hair after having babies. Hi Jane, I know you're ready for your cookie, but here you can see it's a bald patch, bald. She's got plenty of bald coming in, and I'll come in with a brush probably sometime today, kind of help clean her up a little bit. Oh, I know, darling. You're ready for your cookie. Okay, here you go. Here's your dewormer. All right, Betsy, you've already had your turn. No, no, no. There we go. Now, I have had my toes stepped on many, many times, but generally, they're not big enough to do much damage. All right, Jane, you ready to go let your babies out? Goodness. Look out, look out. Y'all gotta let me to the gate. Good morning. And Betsy's gonna go finish off whatever grain isn't left in the feeder. Jane is an excellent mom. Alright, now I've got to go filter the milk. So now I'm feeding our rabbits. I'll come through and show you guys all of them individually after I'm done here. Now, we only recently got into rabbits, and these are standard Rex rabbits. So they are a dual purpose breed. They are used for both their meat and their pelt. And we kind of tend to have a naming theme with most of our creatures. And our theme with the rabbits has been King Arthur names. So we have, of course, our buck named Arthur. And then our does are Guinevere and Nimue. The reason that we got into rabbits for meat is because they are a sustainable meat source that we can produce here in the city. Like, we have raised chickens in the backyard. Actually, if you go back in our video history, we have actually processed chickens here. Which, I mean, we're fine with chickens. There's certainly a faster turnaround with them, but they're not sustainable, and we're just not able to raise very many at a given time. So it's a lot of work for very little gain. So, you know, sure, Cornish cross take 8 to 12 weeks or whatever to grow up, but I can only raise, I think we did, I can't remember now if it was a dozen or 14 in our last batch, which for a family of 5 doesn't get you very far. So we decided to go with rabbits because it's very similar to chicken in flavor, and they're sustainable, so we can produce them year round. We can have a consistent, steady influx of meat coming from our backyard. Now, are they going to completely replace chicken in our diet? I doubt it, because my family likes roasted chicken too much. Rabbit meat is similar to chicken, but a roasted chicken is kind of my specialty, and you gotta get that crispy skin. All right, now come meet the bunnies. This is Arthur. He is a broken castor buck, and he is very friendly. Hi, Mr. Arthur. He likes his head rubs. He's a very sweet boy. But he is going on 8 months old now. Okay, this is Guinevere. She is our expectant doe. So she's looking a little large about the middle. She is actually due this coming weekend. Today's Monday. And she'll have babies this weekend. Naturally, of course, the weather does not want to agree with our time schedule, and it's going to be in the 100s midweek, and this weekend it's supposed to still be like 107 degrees. So it's like, please, oh please, oh please, work with me. But this is her first nest. I think she's doing all right. She's been nesting for a long time, since she was like less than a week pregnant. And she's been going nuts, and we just put the box in here a couple days ago after we got back from our trip, and she's doing all right. But she just needed something to put her stuff in, because the ground is covered with the hay that she kind of stomped through the wire trying to build a nest. But she's getting to be quite the champion nest builder. But Guinevere is a castor doe. That's her coloring. And then this is Nimue. She is a seal colored doe. And she's actually a little younger than the other two, and she's a little bit more like schizo, and she's disgusting, so I have to clean her tile. She pees on everything, but she's a sweet rabbit. She's 2 months younger than the other two, so she is not bred right now. And I know that traditionally you should breed 2 does at the same time to get babies, but we wanted to breed ironically before the intense heat came, and naturally it's going to be intensely hot when she's due to have her babies. We haven't exactly decided what our breeding schedule is going to be, if we're going to wait until Guinevere is ready to be bred back, or if we're going to just go ahead and breed Nimue right away when she's old enough. We just have to kind of look at the weather and figure all that out. Alright, now we have one clean marble tile. Now, we have marble tiles in the rabbit cages because marble is the best material that you can use to keep them cool when the weather is hot, because it stays cooler than the ambient temperature, better than any other type of tile. So I spent a while scouring everywhere for marble tiles. She's licking it and then promptly peed right over the edge of it. I don't know what it is about these tiles, but she's like, this is my potty spot. Like, why? Why is that your potty spot? I don't know. I've tried moving it. Something about the tile. Now, we have plans to make some alterations to our rabbit hutch area, but right now we have this umbrella to help with the shade because the sun does kind of hit. Now, this tree is not doing well. It's a Japanese maple. It was supposed to fill out and shade this better, but it's really struggling this year. Now, I think that part of it is because when we added onto our house, we actually had another tree on the end here. It was a dogwood tree, and we had some rose bushes in here, but when we added onto our house, unfortunately the construction workers did a lot of their like hosing off stuff over here, and it killed the plants. So I think that maybe that chemical waste is just, I'm not sure if this tree is going to pull through, honestly. It's not looking great. If you compare it to the other tree out front, it's doing much better out there. But anyway, our rabbit hutches are in our chicken run. And we used to have the chickens just free reign in the yard, but it did make for more difficult management with the goats getting into chicken feed, because the chickens had to be able to go get their feed but not let the goats in. And when the adult goats got bigger, it was less of a problem, but then we had baby goats and that became a problem again. So we decided to enclose the chickens, and honestly we don't regret it because now we don't have chicken poop all over the place. They used to poop all over my patio. So and then they have their bucket feeders here, which is mostly goat proof, except that Betsy knows that if she knocks it over, she can get the lid off it. We can actually check the eggs while we're here. Now, we've had this coop for, geez, going on a decade now. Hello, Jade. Excuse me. You have anything under here? Any treasure? Nope. So, this is Jade. She's our black Australorp. She's always broody. She is perpetually broody. But she's not, like, mean about it, so I don't stress out. This is little Stinker. She's a Splash Andalusian. Oh, there is an egg under her. And she's not broody, she's just getting ready to lay. But, haha. That looks to me like an Americana egg. Lovely. Alright, let's go put this egg inside and then we'll continue with our little walkabout. Okay, so next I'm going to move on into the garden areas. In the interest of not making this a super long video, I'm not going to go into real detail about what's going on in them. I'll do that in another video, but this is just kind of a walkabout on our backyard urban homestead here, so just kind of a breeze through for now. Alright, so the garden has gotten a little crazy since I've been gone for the past couple of weeks. So we have tomatoes, and there's actually tomatoes in this mess of sunflowers. I was not expecting this exactly. The sunflowers made more branches than I expected. I expected them to just be like, you know, one stalk and then they would be done. But they've really filled out and they're kind of blocking the sun. So unfortunately, even though they're glorious, I am going to have to pull them out. I do have a long enough season that I'm going to let them kind of spend their blooms and then I'll pull them out. But it comes back. We've got the cucumbers. And actually, I know that we've got hidden in here. Hello, friend. That's ready to pick. Let's go ahead and pull that. Ooh, look at that. It popped right off. Hello. That's a muncher cucumber. But yeah, we've got like eggplants in here. I've got some that are ready to pick. That one may even be past time to pick. I can't believe how fast this stuff is growing. Ooh, work our way through. Oh no! There's a squash that got out of control. Let's grab that. Oh, it's a conjoined twin. Interesting. Oh no. That's interesting. It's a conjoined twin. Looks like something. Oh no, that's splitting. Interesting. Because it looks like this twin failed and this twin didn't. Very interesting. Still edible. Huh. Look, there's another conjoined twin on this plant. Huh. Interesting. Is that another one? It's another one. Why is it making so many conjoined twins? Weird. Anyway, sweet peppers are over here, and I mean they're finally. Hey, look, they're producing stuff. So that's exciting. But we'll go into that and we'll really dig into them on another video. Oh, criminy! What am I gonna do with all these things that have gotten out of control? Oops. Oh darn, we'll just have to use this sooner. See what happens on a walkthrough? You find things that end up needing to be addressed. And now I have to juggle a camera and produce. Good times. But that's kind of the very quick, brief walk about the garden. And I'm sure there's plenty of things still in there to pick if I dig around. Okay, so I went and unloaded the produce that we picked unexpectedly. And now we're going to look at the patio garden here, because you know, a lot of people don't have the square footage really to give up to a garden like I have over here that's all fenced off and, you know, larger beds. But I had this big patio that we never used for anything, and I decided to put containers on it, and it's been really successful actually. And so let's take a look at my container garden. The tomatoes here in the garden need to be trimmed back because they're kind of encroaching into the space over here. But I have barrels that go all along the fence line. And the two end barrels here, I haven't put anything in yet, but I have plans to. But we have, these are just storage totes that I got from Costco when they were on sale. And this is like their third or fourth year. They're doing really well, honestly. And then over here, this is new. This is the first year for this metal water trough, and I'm in love with it. Like I may always grow peppers in here because they are huge. They are light years ahead of all the sweet peppers. Like they are big. They're filled with fruit. I mean, this is a jalapeno, and it's just crazy. And then on the end here, I have a squash that's going to climb up this trellis here. But yeah, this is all containers. It's a little wild. It needs some maintenance done. but container gardening is totally a viable way to grow food. So I have been slowly, bit by bit, conquering more and more of the space here that we have. David has always wanted to maintain a lawn in the front yard to keep an animal-free area for him and the kids to play and stuff like that. And so we do still have a lawn, but I have been taking little bits of it. But our side yard here, it's like dead space. Now it does have some clutter, some storage. Like we have a wheelbarrow that lost a wheel that, like, where am I gonna put this? I don't have like a dumpster to put it in, so we have to haul that off and just haven't gotten to it yet. But I have more containers growing along the side yard. Now, because of the heat coming in, they're starting to look a little sad, but they are successful. So we've got, these are all different kinds of storage totes. These black ones here from Costco, they have proven to be the sturdiest by far. Because like even this blue one, like this one is, I think it's its 3rd season, but you can see it comes apart. So I think probably after this season, I'm going to have to retire this, take all the soil out of it, and dispose of it. But it is totally usable, and it's a totally viable option for someone who is trying to garden on a budget. It may not last forever, but you'll get at least a few years out of it. Now the clear plastic totes, don't use those. Those die in like 1 season because of the sun. And then this is another tote that's actually completely buried under these nasturtium plants. But let's see, there's the edge of it. And this one's had a busted out corner since last year. These nasturtiums are all volunteers that actually overwintered. They stayed alive all winter because this side yard is really kind of insulated. I'm not going to show you because it'll blind you. The side of the house is actually white, so I'm pretty sure that reflected a lot of the heat back to them in the winter. So they didn't actually die. Like, parts of them died, but they came back in the spring with a vengeance, and I left them because they were glorious. And then over here we also have, each kid has a barrel that they garden in. So the boys have tomatoes and Audrey has flowers. They get to pick what they want to grow. But you can see Nathan's got tomatoes that are ready to pick. That's exciting. Alright, now behind me is our fruit tree mound. I have struggled for years with, or had struggled for years to try and keep a lawn over there, and that didn't work, so we just put like mulch over there, and it just wasn't pretty. So we decided to instead put a mound in there and try throwing a couple fruit trees in. Because of our limited space, I decided to actually go with grafted fruit trees. So I have a fruit salad tree over here that has, let's see, a yellow peach, a white peach, a nectarine, an apricot, and a plum. So it's got 5 different fruits on one tree, and they all kind of come into season at different times, so I don't have everything all at once. It's great, we love it, and it's got fruit on it. Now the other tree over here is a 4-in-1 apple tree, so it has 4 different varieties of apple grafted onto one tree. And they're all varieties that actually will ripen at different times of the summer. So again, you're not overwhelmed with everything coming into fruition all at once. Over here is the kids' garden. Each kid has their own bed, and then we kind of have like a community strip on the end. And they get to plant whatever they want, and they can pick food, they can pick flowers, they can grow anything. This garden got slightly neglected while we were gone over the past 2 weeks, so it's not looking quite as lush and rampant as the backyard garden, but they do have things going on in here, and we can do a more thorough tour at another date. So that's kind of what we do here on this little plot of land. Now our entire lot is 1/5 of an acre, which includes the house. So it's not a ton of space. Now granted, there are plenty of people who have much less space. Even here in our city in Modesto, it's, I mean, 1/5 of an acre is a big plot here. And we have been able to do pretty much everything to the max. We've got goats, we've got chickens, we've got rabbits, and we have a dog. It's been a really great learning experience for me. It's been a great learning experience for the kids. But we have just decided to do what we can where God has placed us. And that is here for now, and has been here for the past 11 years. We don't know what his future plans are for us, but we're gonna grow wherever he has us. And that is why we have made it part of our sign-off, is grow where you're planted, because we can't always dictate the situation that we're in, but we can dictate what we do in it. My hope and my desire with this channel is to help encourage people like you guys, people who are watching, who are stuck in an apartment, who are stuck in town with a small area of land. Like, you can still grow food, you can still do things, and like, you don't have to be completely handcuffed by your situation. My goal is to encourage people to grow where they're planted and to reach for those dreams. Even though you can't fully realize that dream, you can still grab a piece of it. We're doing the same thing. We have dreams for more, but I'm not going to sit around and wait for it to fall in my lap either. So I'm preparing myself. I'm turning my waiting room into a classroom, just like Jess over at Roots and Refuge says all the time. Turn that waiting room into a classroom. Learn what you can, gain what experience you can, and really just grow where you're planted. And that's what we do here. While it is my goal to encourage you guys have been encouraging me with your comments and your reception of our channel, really. It's been amazing to see how many people are so excited to see our channel and our content. So thank you, you guys who have commented. It really helps give me the get up and go to make these videos. So thank you to you guys. Now, as always, this is your urban nerd with a goat herd, telling you that you can grow where you're planted.